Good morning, peoples. We are here to update Pulte and Coney. So let's jump in. Pulte had some trades, but before we get into the trades, it added 100,000 shares. It had moved up some on Friday. It moved up another 100,000 on Monday, which is 1.21. So it's rocking with 8.375 million, which is pretty small compared. But the assets under management, it's moving up. Look at this. This is an older chart that's about 2 weeks old. But look at this. It was 370. It's 548 now. So it would have a ways to go. I'm sure YieldMax is hung in there. But YMAG is not going to catch it. So I see it in the top three at some point. Um, Looks like Coney and Tesla are about the same. Nvidia's a little more, and then you're more than twice, and they're already about 4.5 in Misty. So everything's moved up, but I think Pulte's moved up a greater percentage. It's 2/3. It's moved up like 50% in 2 weeks time frame. I have a better AUM. I just don't have it in this context on this sheet. Okay, so let's take a look at what they did on Monday. Well, and crypto was up nice. Silver is still, I'm really excited about silver as a further breakout, confirming that we can get a month in close over 35, 35 and a half, and we're at 36.7. It'll be fabulous. All right, so Palantir, 3.4%, closed at 132.06. And Pulte, 65.53. So 75%, 66, actually that's about 0.667, right? 2/3. Um, so not bad. The issue here, so the synthetic is making good money. The problem is on Monday, what forced the trades were they were not out of the money. Look at this. They took 3,000 off the table here, but they've run past them by 2.32, right? We're at 230 something, and that, or 130 something. What was the number again? Yeah, 132. So we're like $3 past that one. I think it's reasonable that they only took half off the table because these things can slide back, and you're having to buy it back for five something. I mean, it's kind of ugly. Look at these trades that they needed to take off the table. Actually, why did I not? I showed them as 6.6, and in fact, they're 6.9. I didn't, when I copied over, I didn't. And then they took some 128s off at 498 that they had collected to something. So when you start doing that, you hurt yourself, obviously. So that's the bulk of it. And if I run this number, let's see, 88, 80, oh, that's around 87 plus F90 plus F93. Okay, well, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, oh, this is a minus number here. -2, yeah, it's 2 something. So what is going wrong? Do I get a 90? Did I have 93? Whoops. No G involved. F87, F90. Oh, that should be a negative too. What happened? I'll take a look at that. These don't matter at the moment. Um, this has got us just about. So we didn't do that great on the spreads. My issue is I don't think the fund managers wrote them out further enough. It's simple. Um, because you don't, in the first day of trading, minus 156, minus 80. You've only got one position out of 40, 41,000 contracts. Only 11,000 are 2.98. So you could easily run by that. Now, the good news on the spreads, we got a full plethora of spreads, and they sold a little bit of them, put some more on, and made some profit on that. But they're pretty close. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So if Pulte, it would have to run to like 145, and it would just kill them over here. But the synthetic would make a lot of money. They'd make up a half of what that loss is. But then the synthetic would roar. So I wanted to go and give you guys, this is early, although really the end of this week is the end of this week. I got between $4 and $5, so I said $5. That synthetic is worth a lot. And they have till 7/18, so they don't have to roll it, but I think they're going to take money out of the pot the end of this week so they can pay us. I mean, it's possible we get a $4 payment, but the whole point is humming along. There's nothing wrong really with Palantir and Pulte, and nothing that the fund managers being on the ball a little bit might not hurt. You just can't do that. If you're paying for insurance up here, you got to keep this stuff at a bay. I mean, it didn't move up that much, right? You're talking about a 3% move. So that means on Friday, when they closed out, I mean, when you got to take sold calls off on Monday, and you only moved up 3%. Now, 3 on 5 days is 15%, but I don't think you're going to see that. We could have another 3 day, 6 day, but I don't think it'll be every day 3% like that. So, fund managers, you're spreading them, but please write your calls out a little further. Do us all a favor. We'll take a little bit less income with the idea that we have more certainty of the income because our synthetic's been doing well. All right, Pulte, do I have anything else for you guys? I don't think so. All right, let's take a look at Conehead. All right. Not as good a story with Coney, sadly. They just haven't accumulated much money, to be honest. I mean, they got 2 weeks to go, no shares added. Um, they had no trades on Monday. They won all of their calls last week. So let's see where they are. They were up 2.13 and Coney was up 2.15. So 256, and that move helped because remember we've gone down below this 250 call. So we're now looking at 32 million. These are our numbers. Friday they were at 7.3. Thursday they were at minus 25 on the synthetic. Wednesday they were up to 29. So we're up further and the placement. So if this week is good and next week's good, then we can get a decent payment. Otherwise, I'm thinking 35 cents or something. So it's just too hard with 2 weeks to go. They don't have a lot of money on the table. Those calls are adding up. Let's go look. Yeah, I had 8 million on the calls on Friday's closeout. We had no trades today, so that was net, right? We had a little bit of losses, but we bought back stuff. So that's positive. The problem with Coney is this. It doesn't have 8 million shares. It's got friggin' 146 million shares. So you got to make money to get a payout. Uh, so having a synthetic at 32 million. Look at it. It's 22 cents. So I get it, we're an $8 stock, but I think a lot of us want to see that 80 cents, a dollar. We get excited if we get 76 because we got 100% yield. Hey, maybe the old Coney's coming back, but I got us as, I think with the IV, they wouldn't pay us below 20 cents, but I really want to see a 70 or 80 cent. We'll know at the end of this week, really, because then they'll have one more week. But if they don't, I mean, they're collecting their calls, but you got to do a little bit better. Look at the expiration date on this guy, 6/20. So they've got to take this thing off the table. When 6/20? Next Monday? Yeah, 10 days away. Next Thursday. I mean, if they're above it, they can hang on with it, but you lose, the theta goes away. Theta is the decay, right? So when you sell a call and you've got 5 weeks, there's a lot of premium. And as time goes by, that premium shrinks every day. Well, when you get in close, it still shrinks. It's not there, but there's not as much to shrink. So you need to get repositioned. So I imagine we'll see this rolled over on Thursday or Friday. A lot has to do with where are they? They don't really want to roll if we're underneath it, but they might be forced to do it. Let's say we slide back from 256 to 248 or 249, and we're going into Thursday or Friday. Maybe they'll go out and ride a 240 and roll it. We call it rolling in options. You get out, you sell one position and get in another position, usually at a different strike. And it's rolling because it's going to expire. I used to do it in gold contracts a lot. And they have months, right? They only have like 4 or 5 months of the year that are the big contracts. The other ones don't have much volume. So your Aprils and your August and your October and December. So futures is not that radically different. All right, guys. So here, how will we position this week on the calls sold? Well, we're right there on this 255, but that's a small portion. That's 5,700. So they've got a 265, which is 3.3 with 4 trading days. This is 2.33, and this is only 6,000 contracts, but it's a 720. Um, eh, all right. I mean, I can't tell with coin what it wants to do. I didn't update the chart, but let's take a look. It doesn't seem to want to go back and fill the gap, and yet it doesn't want to do like a break, a gap breakaway. It had a gap breakaway, and then sometimes you'll see this just for 3 or 4 more days. They're it's basically a breakaway, and it just gaps and gaps, and it's usually some fantastic news, earnings, something going on. In this case, we had the S&P 500, right? Um, so let's see what happens. It seems to be, in a reasonably tight trading range. All right, guys, that's what I got on Pulte and Coney. So have a great week. I've been doing a lot of comparison videos, if you've seen that. I need to get something out on the miners. I may wait 2 or 3 more days, but I got a 2x on silver. My AJQ is killing it. Um, just, just a lot. My JNUG is just really only about even. But if that's a three week trade, I may let it set. We'll see what happens on that. All right, guys, that's what I got. This is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Before making any financial decisions, always consult your own financial advisor. Have a great day ahead. Bye for now.